of the biggest gifts that I've ever had was I had access to a 12-step program.
You know, I always say that I'm on the fence with RFK Jr. because I'm on the fence with everybody, given, you know, what you end up finding out about our government. But there's always that part of me, it's like, but I love RFK Jr. too. There's that part of me that does. Maybe it's because he's a Kennedy. Maybe it's because he's been through a 12-step program. Because there's, you know, what I don't think people understand is you have your religions, you have your churches, but the addict, the alcoholic that recovers through the 12 steps, it's truly, it's a God thing. It is a higher power that no one can explain, but everybody that sticks around long enough and just, even if you hate, just show up. That's it. Just show up. You can't just, you know, go there one time and say, I hate it. Nobody wants to go there. But you'll end up finding out that truly something miraculous happens. And as RFK says in this, is that, you know, it's through access to a 12-step program that he gained insight and wisdom. Yeah, you know, it's the only place I know where, you know, you got to look at yourself. You can't, you know, you're not in the counselor's office or the social worker's office blaming mom and dad, blaming everybody. No, you got to look at you. I mean, one of the steps is all about looking at you so that you can clear your garbage away. I mean, it's truly the path to God, and you go there and you don't even realize that it's taking place while it's happening. So, I mean, we have religion in this country. We have people that believe, but truly for the people that have been crushed by addiction and have come up out of that, it is a God thing. I'm not just one of these holy roller Christians. Clearly, I'm not that. Okay, I mean, but when that God saves you from that utter despair, that place where you know there's nowhere else to go. There's no doctor, there's no medicine, there's no science, there's nobody that can help you. You reach that pit, you reach down that far where it's life or death. And it's God that pulls you up out of it. And in the beginning, you know, all you do is just show up. You just got to show up. As a psych nurse, I hear people all the time, you know, struggle with addictions. And yeah, I've been to AA, it didn't work for me. And it's like, that's because you didn't keep showing up. You got to just keep showing up. But everybody in this world has been made to think, give me the quick fix. I want the quick fix. There isn't one for that. But if you just show up, you don't even have to say anything. You just show up with your bad attitude and all. And you just keep doing that. You'll get to a point where you realize at some point along the way where you look back and go, God was carrying me all that time. Because I don't know how I just showed up here with this bad attitude. I did what my stupid sponsor said. You know, that's kind of what you're thinking at the beginning. Tells you get on your knees every morning and ask God for help. Get on your knees every night, thank God. Make a gratitude list. Because there never should be a day that you go by that there's not something you have. Everybody has something to be grateful for. So it's different for the people. I mean, that, you know, it's why I've never understood when everybody wants to argue about God. It's like, and the science especially that wants to argue about God, it's like you didn't, there is millions of people that have recovered through Alcoholics Anonymous. Millions. It's been around since the late 30s. And it's in every country. It's just they don't, you know, it's not a detox center. It's not a place where science and doctors are recording everything, you know. It's God, because God is the doctor. And you don't even realize that in the beginning. You don't. You're just desperate enough. That's what happens. You get that's the last place you go. You try everything else because you don't want to have to do that. And then you find out that you end up being grateful for being an addict. Actually, you do. I used to hear people in Alcoholics Anonymous come around. I'm Dan. I'm so and so. Whatever. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic, and I think, yeah, sure you are. Yeah, you just saying that. No, then I understood. It's like, no, you do. You reach that place where it's like, thank God for that, because of where it brought me to. I'm not saying people in other religions and all that stuff, or in Christianity, don't know God, but I think that there's a level of knowing God, well, on a different level, for those that have recovered or are in recovery from addiction, because it's a different relationship that you have than what the church teaches you, than what the sermons say. It's actually this walk you do every day with God, because that's how it starts. It starts with just, oh, help me, God, not to pick up a drink today. That then, you end up turning everything over to Him, because by turning everything over, by being dependent on God, you become the most independent. And then as years go on, that relationship, sometimes you fade off, and you get off track, and don't stay close to God, and you come back, something happens, you come back around. But for the alcoholic, it's truly the walk every day with God. That's why I found it so hard in this world in many ways, because one of the biggest things in a 12-step program is that, and it says in how it works, you have to be rigorously honest. And it talks about why you have to be. And of course, nobody's perfect at that. But the problem is that when you let the white lies go, they build up, they build up, they build up. And if you start down that track, you'll just head right back into drinking. And most people that do end up, having, recovered for a while, it's like, I know I don't ever want to go back. Thank God I don't forget about how bad it was. Thank God I don't forget about how desperate it was, because so you have this issue in this world that wants you to, wants liars, and wants, it's hard to just go along with what the immoral want, because, if you're somebody that's recovering from an addiction, then, it's like, no, I have to be rigorously honest. So it's not as easy to just look the other way. It's not as easy to just say, okay, yeah, I'll go along with the lie. Doesn't mean you're perfect. There's no addict or alcoholic that thinks they're perfect. All I'm saying is that truly there's evidence of God. If the fact that science can't see that millions in the world have recovered from the 12 steps, and it's God. It is God that did it. It is a higher power that did it. The very fact that they cannot say that's evidence of God shows that science, the majority of science, didn't want. They wanted to do everything they could to be God rather than acknowledge that God exists. Because for anybody, and there's millions in the world that have recovered through a 12-step program, they know on a day-to-day basis what that relationship is all about with God. That should have been evidence a long time ago for science, to stop their nonsense about that there's no God. Millions recovering from 12-step programs is evidence of God.